Okay, so we're starting with the 8th yesod, Torah min hashamayim, and then we're going to do the 9th yesod, which we did yesterday. We kind of just forgot. We just forgot Torah min hashamayim. We forgot to do that earlier. Okay, let me wait till I get here. We can pass in these two. Yeah. Okay. So we did read the first part of this when we were doing the Vos Moshe, but we didn't read like what he says about Torah itself. Yesod Shemini. This is the Rambam in Chelek, Hakdama Chelek. Yesod Shemini hu Torah min hashamayim. So Torah from heaven. But who? This is Shena'amin, that we believe Shekol Torah Hazal Hanimtis B'Yadenu Hayom Hazeh Hi HaTorah Shenitna LaMoshe. That this entire Torah that is in our hands today, this is the Torah that was given to Moshe. The Shehi Kulam Pi Gvura. All of it is from the mouth of the Almighty. Kolomar Shehigia Ilav Kulam Me'es Hashem Haga Shekorim Osa Al Derech HaHash'ala Dibur. That it arrived or it was conveyed to him in a manner that we call, by way of equivocation, speech.
We did. Sorry.
This one we did do. Yeah, we did the stuff about Torah itself. I think I'm lacking one page, but you'll have the second page in a second. We'll be there in a second. I'll go like that when it's time for you to get the second page. So Moshe got the entire Torah from God in what we call speech, right? That's not actually speech. No one knows the quality of that like medium other than the one who got it, which is Moshe. And he was on the level of like a stenographer it was read before him, and he wrote all of its like accounts and narratives and mitzvot. That's what it's called, an inscriber. So I think that's as far as we read last time. Okay, fine. And we read it in the context last time of if Moshe got Nevuah in word. Well, this is in line with the fact that Moshe got Nevuah in words, but we were like confused about comparing to the other Nevi'im. So we'll just bury that. Okay, this part's new. Vein Hebdel Bein Ubnei Ham Kush uMitzrayim Uput uKanaan V'Shem Ishto Mehitavel Bat Matred. Oh, Anochi Hashem Ushma Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. There's no difference between the psukim. Quote: the sons of Ham were Kush and Mitzrayim and Put and Canaan. End quote. New quote. And the name of his wife was Mehitavel Bat Matred. End quote. So there's no difference between those psukim and psukim of Anochi Hashem Elokecha and Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Right? Hakol mipi agvur v'akol Torah Hashem Tamima Tahora Kedosha Emes. All of them are from the mouth of the Almighty. All of them are the Torah of Hashem that are whole and pure and holy and true. So what do we say about that?
Cool.
Yeah. What is he getting at when he says there's no difference? Because clearly there's a difference.
Right. I mean, it means in terms of being mipi agvur.
Yeah, in terms of the authenticity. Like, what's the Havamina? Yeah, because
genealogy is just
fundamental.
Yeah, definitely less fundamental. Right. Right. So you could say that like these unimportant things like the genealogies and stuff were just thrown in later, you know? Kamashbalan, you can't. Right? It's all mipi agvura. Yeah. V'lo nase Menashe. Now we just suddenly go into dissing Menashe. If there's any disworthy person. Menashe, the most evil king. V'lo nase Menashe etzlam kofer upoker yoser mikol kofer acher ela lefi shechashav sheish b'torah tok uklipa. Nothing made Moshe, in the eyes of Chazal, I assume Islam, more of a denier and a what?
Menashe, not Moshe.
Menashe, yes. That's true also. No. Yes, it's Menashe. A kofer and a poker. How do you translate poker? A caster offer of the yoke? Poker. No, that's porek. That's porek.
poker face.
More than any kofer, other kofer. So in other words, the thing that made him the most kofer of the kofers is the fact that he thought that Torah contained a content and a shell or a husk, you know, like the fruit or the meat and the inedible stuff. And these like dates and accounts in toelis ben. There's no benefit in them. There's no purpose in them. So that's another interesting thing. Meaning it's not, Moshe midato amram, and Moshe said them of his own mind. V'zehu in Torah min hashamayim. That's what it means to say that the Torah is not from heaven. Amru, we'll read the whole thing one and all. Amru shehu haomer shekol Torah kula mipi agvura chutz mipasuk echad shelo amru hakadosh baruch hu ela Moshe mipi atmo. That's the person who says that the entire Torah is from the mouth of the Almighty, except for one pasuk that Hakadosh Baruch Hu didn't say, but Moshe said it himself. Zehu ki devar Hashem baza. That's what it means that he disparaged the word of Hashem. Yis'aleh Hashem mima she'omrim hakofrim. May God be elevated above what the kofrim say. Ella, rather kol os sheba, rather every letter in it yeshba chachmos v'niflaos l'misha hevino Hashem. Rather, every letter that in it has wisdoms and wonders for the one who Hashem grants understanding to. And in one, you cannot grasp the utmost extent of its chachma. It's broader than the earth and deeper than the sea. Yeah.
Can you still say that they had a toilet, even if they were mipi Moshe?
That's the interesting thing, right? Is he said he seems to be Rambam seems to be against two things. One thing that Moshe did it himself, and the other that there's no toilet. So like, are both of those like part of the ikar? Like,
Right.
meaning like maybe Moshe put it in to make it more believable, you know?
Right. Or even to teach ideas. Like,
Or teach ideas, right? And some any toilets, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Let's just finish reading and then we'll think about what the ikar is. The in la adam ela lehis palel. What I was looking for. I was looking for this in my Sunday shir. I never would get the tier. The in la adam ela lehis palel k'moshe David Mashiach Elokei Yaakov shehis palel gal einai v'abita nifolos mitorah sacha. The only thing a person can do is pray like David, the Mashiach of the God of Yaakov. Weird way to reference David said. Uncover my eyes and I will gaze at wonders from your Torah. Meaning that's all you can do if you don't understand what Meheda Bel Bas Matrade is doing in the Psukim. V'chein Peirush hamakubal, same thing with the received explanation. Gam hu mipi agvura, not the Midrashim, not the Agadas. That's also from the mouth of the Almighty. V'zeich anu osim hayom tzuras hasukah v'halula v'shofar v'tzitzit v'tefillin v'zulatim hi atma hatzura she'amar Hashem l'Moshe v'amar lanu. So this form of the sukkah and the lulav and the shofar and the tzitzit and the tefillin and other things that we have today, that we do today, that is the same form that Hashem said to Moshe. And he said to us, Hu rak movil shlichus ne'eman b'ameh shehevi. I always know what mobile means. I would think it means to move, but I think that's because I'm thinking of a mobile. Does it mean to move? Lahovil? Mobile? No. Mobile, so I still don't think anything my dictionary here. I don't even know what's being used as a noun or verb here. Mobile.
Is that like modern Hebrew for like a car?
No clue.
Be clever.
I don't know.
It would.
Oh.
Mobile, oh, conveyor. Yeah, it does mean to move.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, conveyor, carrier, conductor, conduit, guide.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why don't we call them mobiles?
I mean, they called mobile, our cars mobiles also,
Yeah.
but no one calls them that anymore,
Right.
right? We call them autos.
Okay.
No.
Imperial Japan.
I don't know why you went there, but so he was only a conveyor, a reliable shliach in what he brought. V'dibur hamora al hayisod hazeh hashmini hu amru bezos tedun ki ani Hashem shalachani v'chulei ki lo milibi. Is the pasuk that with this shall you know that Hashem sent me and it's not from my heart. I think it's by Korach, 76. Is that by Korach? Yeah, that's by Korach. Yeah. But what is the ikar according to him here? Seems like a lot of stuff here. It's about Moshe's role. It's about like which parts are, or about the fact that every part of the Torah is like from God and that it all has value and that you should daven like David to understand it, and also the Torah Volpeh. It's like not quite as unified as the other ikkarim. And then there's a classic question. Ruben probably talked about this. There's a classic question about
circular?
no, about every pasuk is from God.
Oh.
Plus the second.
Yeah, last 8 pasukim, right? The machlokas, whether the last 8 pasukim are from
Yeah.
are
I don't remember.
from Moshe He does.
Maybe this. Oh, he talks about the Ibn Ezra's.
Yeah. So like with Rambam called him Nezra Kofir.
Right.
Yeah, that's the classic question. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You could say that. Yeah, it'd be a very, very easy answer. But yeah. So could we get any sort of like unity in the ikar here? Or can't we?
Just speculate that we can.
Okay. Are you saying that you're going to speculate, or you were just
No.
expressing your
I think
speculation that we can speculate?
the latter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is the unity of seemingly the two qualities or two qualifications of like first that it's all mediocre and also that it all has purpose.
Right.
Those seem like two different things.
Yeah, they do. So I'm inclined to think, and this is not based on any like actual like reading about what the Rambam holds as the ikar, but I'm inclined to think that the essence of it is that it's mipia chavurah, it's from God, and therefore it has like this tremendous amount of chachma in it. And if you held that it was from Moshe, that's a different kind of chachma. Like even if you held that it was from Moshe and you put it in there for chachma, that's a different kind of chachma than the chachma of like the creator, you know?
Mhm.
Like saying that it's a product of human invention.
Right.
You could say it has chachma, but I feel like my sense here is that the essence of this ikar is the perfection of Torah as a divinely, authored document, which is why he puts the emphasis on Moshe just taking it down, and like that's the ikar. So I think so. To answer your original question, yeah, if you held that it was from God and a particular pasuk was from God and didn't have chachma, that would be a violation of the ikar. And if you held that it was from Moshe but did have chachma, that would also be a violation of the ikar, because that's not the kind of chachma we're talking about. And that's maybe also why he talks about like, I mean, I don't know why he has to say this, but like that if you don't understand something, then you have to ask God to supply it for you because it's like divine chachma, emphasizing that role. I don't know why I say that. It's just a little weird. So yeah. All right, we go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're up to the 9th parak now, right? We did 9th parak. We're up to the 10th parak. Yeah. Okay, so this is on page in that packet, page 112.
Are we doing the next episode?
Oh, sorry. Yes, we're doing the 9th yesod. Thank you. 9th yesod. So I felt like we were forgetting something. 9th yesod is what we covered yesterday, but we didn't do the actual yesod. The yesod of chi habitl. Yeah.
It's just funny before we get there. It's funny that why did he put the Peirush at the end? Like, why is that not like before all the stuff about tefillah and
Right.
how it's a neat hypothesis and
Right. That's a good question. Yeah, you mean he just continued explaining. Moshe wrote down every word. Every word is from God. Every word has chachma. So we're still talking about like the Torah, and then he goes to the Torah path. It would be a breakup of that subject if you interject the Torah path in there. The Torah path is not an every word phenomenon. It's just that the essence is the same.
okay, but the same thing still applies. It all has
I don't know. Meaning it does, but I'm saying I don't know if he's saying it in the same way. Like I think it would be a big.
I don't think anyone would.
Yeah, right.
I
mean, I think the Toelis is not the important part there, but I see what you're asking though, right? I mean, why does he emphasize the tsura? Meaning he could have said, for example, we have the same words now that we used to have back then for the Torah B'Ksav,
right.
And I should have brought afternoon coffee, I'm seeing. Yeah, it's like intrinsic, like knowing how to do this. Right.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question.
The actual question, yeah. That was just a fake. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I just thought of this question.
Yeah.
It's weird examples like you kind of like you mentioned. That's just about the zero. Like, what about like I don't know, like zero.
Yeah, like compare that to the lesson that he used in the Mishnah Torah, where he says all the klalim, pratim, and dikdukim, like all the details.
Right.
Surah is weird. It is weird.
Like, is that the size of the sukkah? Is that like
right? I mean,
is that all included in the surah?
Right. I mean, it's a very strange terminology there. You could say it includes all of the halakhic structure, and he's just using a more like Aristotelian term or something like that.
What are like mysios? Like he's only brought
Objects, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird. He even talked about us making it, doing it. Yeah, strange. Here's from Makubal.
right? Like, let's say
Yeah, there's Peirush Makubal and other stuff.
right.
That's not objects.
How to be
Ein Tagazayin. Yeah.
Right. Would be a good example.
Yeah. Shita.
No, I don't think.
Say all six.
But you had one specific.
No, why specific
Why
surah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird. I mean, it's a good question. It's weird, is it? All right. Noted.
Noted.
Okay. Number 9, habitol, negation. V'hu shezot Torah of Moshe lo tibatel. That this it's to know that this Torah of Moshe will not be nullified. V'lo tavo Torah me'et Hashem zulasa, and there's no other Torah of Hashem that will come from him. V'lo yitosaf ba v'lo yigra mimena. It cannot be added to nor detracted from. Lo b'katuv lo b'Peirush. Not in writing, not in the comment, the explanation. Amar lo tosef alav lo tigra mimeno. Says don't add to it and don't subtract from it. This is the only ikkarim that we've seen. No, this is not true. Never mind. I was gonna say this is the only one that's a mitzvah, but we had like half of them.
Right.
Yeah. Ukavar arnu mashet sarech, right? 1, 2. So God's existence, God's oneness are mitzvahs, and then avodah zarah is another mitzvah, which we didn't read, but that's there.
Right.
And listening to a Navi is a mitzvah.
Yeah.
According to the Rambam.
It's
Not really a mitzvah. Yeah. It is a weird thing though that some of these are mitzvahs, and the pasuk he quotes is the mitzvah pasuk. Some of them are just fact. And I will explain this in the Hakdama, which is what we are planning to do tomorrow. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Okay. Now we go back to 10. Not back to 10. Now we start with very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not yesodos here.
No, because that is
It's not.
that God knows things. Yeah. Very important, but not on the agenda. Okay. Perek Asiri. The 10th chapter is Ne'emanu Tanavua. That's the subtitle given by the editor guide. Page 112. Kol Navi Shiyamod Lanu V'Yomer She'Hashem Shalacho. So now he finally is going to tell us how to know that someone's a Navi, right? Because he alluded to it before, that there's othos, that there's signs. And then he said, but don't think that the sign is like a sole proof of his nubuah. It just allows us, what?
Silver?
Yeah, do not think it's a sole proof. Yeah.
You actually already need a soul proof beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Doesn't know he's fit to be here.
Right.
Right. Nor is it a soul proof. If I had a fish.
Kind of soul.
Yeah, soul.
Pulled up
SOLE.
South Korean city.
Yeah. It's just going way too far. He's also said that it's not the only proof that he's a Navi, because you can have someone who gives an oath and a mofet, but then if he tries to undermine Nebuah's Moshe by changing the Torah permanently or telling you to worship avodah zarah, then you know that he did it with trickery. Yeah. Okay. Any Navi who arises for us and says that God sent him. He doesn't need to do for us one of the signs like Moshe Rabbeinu, which is weird. Why do you have to say that? I mean, what's weird about him saying that?
Because obviously I can do something. Because Moshe Rabbeinu did like practical things,
Yeah.
and then like perfect night.
Right.
Right.
Moshe never brought signs to his prophecy.
Yeah. Other than if it's right, which I think is the midway.
Right. Okay, that could be, yeah. Or the oaths of Eliyahu and Elisha. And any speculation as to why Eliyahu and Elisha are singled out? As opposed to say Yeshua splitting the sea?
Maybe those are mentioned in right. It could be those.
That could be, but weren't some of these also practical? Okay, so that could be. It could have to do with the purpose of the oaths and the Moaves. Even with Elisha? Eliyahu on Mount Carmel is everything. Right, yeah.
No.
So, yeah.
What
Cold, fresh. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was Elisha the one who revived the person?
Both of them did.
Oh,
Yeah. That was the other thought, is
Yeah.
that Theus and Mason is considered to be like the utmost, like the grandest miracle, you know? It could be that he's choosing those two examples because they both did Theus and Mason.
Moshe Rabbeinu?
No, Eliyahu and
no,
Elisha.
no.
Yeah. So like don't think that it has to be like that the osos have to be on par with the greatest Navi, or that they have to be the greatest osos.
I see.
Maybe speculation.
Mhm.
Sheyesh behem shinui min hagash ha'olam, which involve a change in the nature of the world. Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like it would have been better if we picked like lower shiur. Like why would you pick the greatest shiur?
Is it because isn't that his point?
No, his
Like
point.
you
His
might.
Point is no shiur is necessary.
No, he's saying that it doesn't have to be like a law breaking.
Yeah, I mean, you might think, meaning the person who's talking to you is saying like, oh, I'm not going to accept anyone as a Navi unless they do the grandest miracle, unless they do miracles on par with Moshe Rabbeinu. So if you said the lower bar one,
I thought you were saying they don't have to do any miracle at all.
No,
They do those.
no.
they will have to give an oath, yeah.
Not a shiur.
Not a Trinitava, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
so
would
he's
you
giving
pick
the
the greatest
example
shiur
of
ever
like
possible? And they doesn't have to be the greatest shiur ever. You know, business.
I suppose the thing is
Pick the lowest shiur ever possible, and say it doesn't even have to be that. It doesn't have to be a shiur.
Yeah, hold on. I feel like there's a reading thing that we're. So if you have the lower one,
like
It seems like these are just examples of.
when isn't it clear? Isn't like clear? Isn't saying that like the clear example went to the cover?
that's how I feel also, but I can't refute what
What's
you're saying.
confusing because like does it have is it like it doesn't have to be Jason or it doesn't have to be shiur at all? Like,
No, I mean
He's clear that it doesn't have to be human at all, yeah.
Right. So I'm saying why would he then bring an example of the greatest shiur?
to make it
Why would that make
it
it
means. I don't know. If you take something that like I think like that was like not sure anything like that would make like that.
Well, maybe I'm thinking more practically here, but like, couldn't you see a scenario where, like, let's say hypothetically, someone comes and like, and walk on water, right?
Okay.
You know, you might be like, oh, like, if, I mean, again, I'm not saying this is actual hobby. I think he's just giving examples, but like if someone does a minor miracle and you're like, yeah, that guy's not a Navi, but then he does some grand miracle, you're like, oh, now I'm in doubt.
Uh-huh.
And he's saying like even the greatest miracles are not anywhere in the realm of like what needs to be done to prove.
Okay.
The procedure for proving Navi's Nebuah. Yeah.
Okay.
Allah.
Well, I'm gonna find that. Those things are not like non
Well, you wouldn't read that yet. Ella, ha'oselo shiomar dvarim hasidim lios ba'olam. Rather, his signs. So he is doing a sign, but not a sign of shinu olam.
Does that mean it has to be non
I that's what he's saying.
Ella.
the only thing that makes them no matter.
Well, if they said it was gonna happen and it did, then that would be good.
No, I'm saying like
Now I'm confused.
I'm saying like I don't know, I think it's only I know didn't say I'm gonna I just get started.
Right.
So if I just does the middle of that, like an ocean is not like say something's gonna happen in the future that
Confused.
Mhm.
Especially if you say that like Navim don't actually do miracles.
Mm.
They're just predicting what is going to happen anyway. So then where's the line? So maybe this is the lower bar you were looking for, right?
Yeah. Meaning it has
That
to
if there's a scale of like fantastic things that they predict that are like out of the realm of nature versus this stuff, and then we're gonna see like there's a low bar that doesn't qualify.
Like there's an 80% chance it's gonna rain tomorrow.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Yeah. This will land on heads.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's read the full procedure and then we can go back. But I think that's makes sense how to read that way. So rather, it's a sign of things that will come to be in the future in the world. The Amnu Devar, his words are come true. Shnemar v'chitzomar bilvavecha echa neda asa davar v'gomer. If you'll say in your heart, how will we know the matter? Okay, Lopika. Therefore, Kishiyavo Adam Haroy Lanibu b'malachus Hashem. Therefore, it's funny he introduces that case again. So if he started off the first halacha, Kol Navi Shiyamo Lanav Yomer Shashem Shlacho, and now he's saying it in a slightly different way. Therefore, any man who comes who's fit for nevuah in the agency of Hashem, V'lo Yavo Lahosif Lo Ligra, and he doesn't come to add or detract. Ela Lavod Es Hashem b'mitzvot HaTorah, but he comes to serve Hashem through the mitzvot of the Torah. We said that. In Omrin Lo, we don't say to him, Kara Alano Hayam, split the sea for us. Or Hachaye Mace, resurrect the dead, Bekios Bela, and things like that. The Achkaf Namin Bacha, and then we'll believe you. Ella Omrin Lo, rather we say to him, In Naviata, if you are a Navi, Emor Lano Dvarim Hasidim Lihos. Tell us things that in the future that will come to pass in the future. Vuomer, and he'll tell us. V'anu Machakim Liros Hayava'u Devarav, and we will await him to see if his words will come true. Im lo yavo, if they don't come true, but filu nafal davar afat katan, even if one little thing doesn't come true, yadushu navi sheker. Then we know he's a navi sheker. We know he's a false prophet. V'im banu ba'u davar kulan, if all of his words come true, yihiye be'einenu neman, he will be in our eyes trustworthy. Meaning we don't know that he's navi for sure, like he's emphasized in the last two chapters, but he's trustworthy, he's reliable. Ubotin oto pa'amim harvin, we test him many times. Im nimsu davar kulan emanim, if all of his words turn out to be true, then he's a true prophet. He has the status of a true prophet, I should say. As it says by Shmuel, V'yida kol Yisrael midan v'ad Be'ersheva ki neman Shmuel l'navi l'Hashem. It was known to all of Israel from Dan to Beersheba that Shmuel was reliable as a navi to Hashem. Yeah.
So is there like an amount of times that,
Aha.
that like that seems like a very vague, undefined kind of like in the beginning he's just trustworthy, then we test him a bunch of times,
Yeah.
and then if it always comes true, like
So you'll see,
three times.
I think he'll say, does he say at the end? That there's an isser, yeah. So at the very end, he's going to say that there's an isser to test him more times than you're supposed to. And that would definitely seem to be that there's...
So we have an even more vague.
Yeah, exactly. So let's wait till we get there. It's weird that he doesn't say that here, but let's wait till we get there and see if he gives us more clues.
Okay.
I have an answer, but I haven't read the Rambam. So
That might confuse about a previous question.
about these changing of the laws of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was the
If he says, if Moshe says the sea will split,
yeah.
right? So then, and the sea splits, that would seem to be a sign of things that are to come in the future.
Mhm.
But, so it does sound like you're just saying the lowering the bar, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be at that threshold. If it were at that threshold, certainly it would work.
Sounds like it's
Yeah.
lowering the bar.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be, but I think the thing that was confusing me is because he made such a big deal about Moshe's nevuah that Moshe didn't do any miracles to verify his prophecy. But we are saying that if another Navi did that, that would meet the criteria set forth by Moshe. It's just, you don't have to meet that criteria. You could just say, things that are in the future that don't violate laws of nature.
And he wasn't doing it for that.
And he wasn't doing it for that reason, right? I think that was where the confusion
He
in my
mean
mind.
Moshe.
Moshe, yeah.
Why couldn't it be?
No.
But that, by the way, was that slip up a reference to Shoftim, Seder Shoftim, where it has like Moshe, but like there's that little nun, so like.
I'm not familiar with that. That's part of my gap of my education. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just
If you were
wondering.
showing him.
Whatever. No, so hold on. But why can't it be talking about Moshe? I guess it doesn't matter, but it could be talking about Moshe, like when he came to
Mhm.
be scanned.
Right.
What?
Meaning, we're saying that he did do miracles that changed the laws of nature there.
Yeah, like there he was
To
actually
bring proof for his
trying
prophecy,
to,
right.
yeah.
Seemingly, yeah. Yeah.
But
Like,
In the crime, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing also is like, the only reason why we're demanding such a high standard of that is because for Moshe, there needs to be a unshakable belief that has no doubt.
Right.
And we don't need that once you have criteria for Moshe Rabbeinu to verify these other Nevi'im. There's nothing wrong with having, like, yeah, Rambam even said, let's say we see this Navi do something that violates the law of nature, we still assume he could be a Navi Sheker. Like that's a possibility. We just rely on him as a Navi MS until it's proven otherwise. Yeah.
Wait. What's that last point?
That last point is that if you see a guy who is an established Navi,
Mhm.
who
Oh,
did
you
a
already
miracle that
tested him
changed the law of
a bunch
nature, you
already tested a bunch of
you
times.
test him a bunch of times and he passed all the tests and he's a great guy. And then he says worship of Vodazara. So at that point, we know he's a Navi Sheker and that somehow we were fooled by all those other things. So on the surface, that sounds like a contradiction, but it's not, because we're saying there's always a possibility that someone is fooling us with miracles. Watch the Amazing Randy's documentary, whatever it was called. What was the,
I don't know.
were we talking about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it.
Yeah. Amazing Randy?
Yeah, he like disproved a bunch of like.
Yeah, he was a debunker of the occult, but he also tricked a bunch of scientists into he basically trained two of his students to be in a test to see whether like telekinetic powers are real. and he was talking. Randy was talking to the scientists and telling them all the tricks to be on the lookout for. But then every time like they did something, he would like tell students to do like some other way to get around it, and like they convinced these scientists that these telekinetic powers were real, and then he revealed that it was all a scam in order to show that scientists are not, if you're not looking to be tricked, then you could be tricked, and like and so but
what's the lesson there? You should always be learn. You should always like think you're being tricked. Like
no,
very
so,
paranoid way to live. Like
that's the lesson. Okay, Ron's over. Yeah, mask. But it's the lesson is that even with a Navi who does miracles, we're only assuming he's a Navi because he passed the test, but we don't know for sure that he's a Navi.
So we never have absolute.
We never have absolute certainty. The only one we have absolute certainty about is Moshe Rabbeinu, because we heard his prophecy, so to speak. And the only reason we believe another Navi is because Moshe's Nevuah has a procedure for when we say that we rely on the Navi like this. And that's why he compares it to like witnesses who they pass all the tests in court. So we don't say that they're definitely telling the truth. We say that we rely on their testimony as valid
because they passed all.
Because they passed all the tests. And it could come along and someone shows that they were lying and we were tricked, but all we can do is like pass, is set up the test.
Right. And there's no way to like test them absolutely.
No way to test them absolutely.
There's no way.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, in fact, arguably, this is a good trivia question. There's only one Navi that was not Moshe that we can know 100% was a Navi. Yoshua.
Why?
Because Moshe vouched for him. Like Nevuas Moshe was the thing that vouched for him.
That's good.
It's a good trick question, right? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, arguably, can't that chain continue if he vouches for someone, then aren't they?
But I think the difference. Hold on.
You're still in the church though.
Maybe you're right.
Well, Moses.
What?
Not everything else was the rule, right?
But this one was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's in Torah.
Yeah.
So the question on the table is if Yeshua says someone is a Navi,
Then it's already like one step removed.
but does that matter?
Well,
Because we know
Like,
that-
why are we accepting this third person as a Navi? Oh, so because we're relying on the halach of Moshe. Yeah,
no, but why is that? That's not through the halachos that we're relying on Yeshua.
I think it is.
It's
I think we're gonna see those halachas in a second. Yeah,
Which
Yeah.
is therefore it can work to a third person,
it can, but it's not the same level of certainty as Moshe.
but it's the same level of certainty as Yoshua
Yeah,
if he passes someone else,
meaning,
or if he like vouched for someone else.
yeah. Let's read it in halakha. Yeah. It was a fun trick question, but then it became a sugya. Yeah, let's okay. I think it's in a couple halachas. Let's just do Gimel 1. V'halo ha'ma'onim ba'kosmin omrin me asilios. Don't you see that the astrologers and the soothsayers say what's going to be in the future? Uma hefresh yesh bein hanavi u'beinam. What's the difference between them and the Navi? Between the Navi and them, right? Ella sha'ma'onim v'ha'kosmin piyot v'hen. Rather, the astrologers and soothsayers and people like them, miktat divrei miskaimim u'miktat ein miskaimim. Some of their words come true, the other ones don't. In Indian number, as it says, Yamdu Nav Yoshiaucha Hovre Shemaim HaHozim Bakochavim Modiim Lechadashim Me'after Yavo Alayich. So arise, please, and let them save you, the stargazers, the heaven visioners, I don't know, and the stargazers who make known what is going to happen to you. Yeah. Me'ashir below kosher. Of what is going to happen to you, not everything that happens to you. It's possible that the words don't come true at all. Or rather, they'll make a mistake about everything. Their word will be nullified. I don't know how exactly to translate that. Yeah, right. So that's like people make such a big deal about Nostradamus, right? All the stuff he predicted, but there's like tons of stuff that he didn't predict or they got wrong. He said. Well, I think the very first example I heard of that was like, that he predicted the rise of a I don't know what the details are, like a great tyrant, in Europe who will like take over everything and like kill everyone. His name is Hister.
Really?
Yeah, right. But
That's
he didn't get
amazing.
right. Yeah, yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah. Aval Hanavi kol devarav kayamin. The Navi, all of his words come true. Shnei it says, "Ki lo yipol midavar Hashem arta," that the word of Hashem, none of it will fall to the ground. Also, it says, "Hanavi asher ito chalom yisaper chalom asher devari ito yidaber devari emes." The Navi that has a dream, he will tell a dream, and my word will be with him, and he will speak my word truthfully. Malat heaven es habar numar Hashem. Let's forget these words. Malat heaven es habar.
What's to raw?
Yeah, bar is that like
Oh wait.
something food related? Like bar means rhyme. What part of Yirmiyahu was that? Does it say? Saf Gimel.
Fast.
So fast. I just want to look it up online here.
Then Tehillim also or
Probably.
I don't know.
I mean, I only know the first 100 chapters about that.
Yeah.
Wait, we said 23,
28.
28. The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What hath the straw to do with the wheat? Saith the Lord.
Meaning,
Meaning that I think that there's
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to be any straw. Oh, is that what you're going to say?
yeah.
Let's see. Aval Hanavi, oh, sorry, we just read that. Klomar, Shedivrei HaKotvim v'Hachalomos Keteven Shnitar Bo Ma'adbar. Right. The words of the soothsayers and the dreamers are like straw that has a little bit of wheat mixed into it, or silver with, or a drop with a little bit of silver in it. Udvar Hashem Kvar Shein Bo Teven Klal, but the word of Hashem has no straw in it at all. Refines everything. Yeah, so they can get stuff right, and but they can't get everything right, and they get a lot of stuff wrong, right? Yeah, and it's interesting also, by the way, that the for all the stuff that the Rambam says about all the occult practices being totally false, I don't know what he holds about. I actually don't know his shita about like whether you can intuit truth in some way, or like there's some sort of like prophetic dreams that are not actually prophetic,
Another above.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Regarding this, the Torah promised. Father promised. Amran says, "Osan hadvarim shemodin amonim makosim umos umachazvin hanavi yodia lachem divrei ha'emes." It's a weird thing to say. Torah promised that those things that the astrologers and the soothsayers say to the nations and they lie, the Navi will make known to them words of truth. And you will not need any astrologer or soothsayer and things like it. Shneimar, it says, "Lo yimatze v'cha ma'avir b'no ubito ba'esh, kosim kramim da-da-da, ki hagoyim ha'ele da-da-da, Navi mikibcha me'achacha," etc. Meaning that the Navi is going to play the role of these soothsayers for you, but you'll get all wheat and no straw. So like, don't think that you're somehow at a disadvantage on the fact that you don't have like these soothsayers, because the Navi will take that role from you. Unless you get exiled and lose your nevuah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Al Lamarta, you learn from here. She'ein hanavi omed lanu elo lahodianu devarim ha'asidim lios olam. Okay, so now this is weird. You learn from here that the Navi is only here for us to make known to us things that will be in the future.
Oh.
Yeah, that's weird, right? He must mean that that's the only kind of information the Navi gives us, because he already said earlier that the Navi's role is to reinforce Torah and also to temporarily change Torah when needed. And that's not telling us stuff that will be in the future.
Right.
So the emphasis must be on the that when we talk about stuff he's teaching us or informing us of, then that's only future stuff. Misova V'ra'av from plenty and famine, Milchama V'shalom, war and peace, and things like that. Even the needs of an individual, he'll tell him. See, that's a weird thing. That's not the future. That's the present, right? When Shaul lost an object and he went to a Navi to tell him where he lost
Where
it.
you will find it.
Ah, there you go. You just have to phrase it in the future tense. Right, so I guess the Navi is not going to do any like paternity tests or something like that.
You will be found to be.
Yeah. So all these things that the Navi will say. Not to make a new religion or to add a mitzvah or to take it away. Okay, now you get the one exception, right? This is another troubling sugya, I think. Divrei hapuranos she'hanavi omer. The words of retribution, the Navi says, punishment. Kigon she'omar, like it says, ploni yamus, so-and-so will die. Oshana ploni shenas ra'av, or such and such a year will be a year of famine. O milchama, or war, and other things like that. In lo amdu dvarav, if his words don't come true, in b'zeh hachachah shel nevuah, that's not a contradiction to his nevuah. Ve'in omrin, and we don't say, hine divrei v'leba, he spoke and it didn't come true. Why? Because God is slow to anger, abundant in kindness, and changes his mind, so to speak, on the evil. The Efshar she'asu teshuva. It's possible that they did teshuva, v'nislach and they were forgiven. Ka'anshe Ninveh, like the men of Ninveh. Literally the only example where Navi says to do teshuva and people do teshuva. Right? O she'talal lahem kechizkiah, or it is delayed like Chizkiyahu. Yeah.
I guess, I mean, why wouldn't, it's like if this person's getting a view about what's happening and then changes his mind, why not just tell him Navi? Oh, I changed my mind.
Right. I mean, I guess.
I think if a Navi says, it's gonna rain tomorrow,
Right.
and then the next morning he said, Shem told me that he changed his mind. That's like,
Right. Yeah.
Right. But also, like, the Navi might be dead.
No, it also isn't the
I mean, like, let's say the Navi says,
The amount of time that.
yeah, let's say like Yeshayahu's first nevuah, or I think the first nevuah about the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, Yeshayahu says there will be 10 more kings, and then the Beit HaMikdash will be destroyed. And like that spanned hundreds of years, you know. So let's say Nathan did tshuva, and like
He wouldn't have been around.
he wouldn't have been around. Yeah, yeah.
Right. And I guess also, like I was saying, even if he was, like, if that worked within the system of nevuah, like then any false Navi could just say something. And
Right.
then,
And
like,
I was just kidding.
the day before, just be like, all right, I got another nevuah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen now.
Right.
But the author
And then it's just luck for him. If,
Yeah,
like,
right.
It happens or doesn't.
doesn't
Yeah.
that mean that doesn't work as an oath?
You're saying
Like it has to be the non-point.
non-pronios,
yeah.
right?
And like how you say it. That
That would not work as an oath if he's just saying it's going to rain.
Well, rain's not funny. Like if you
Right.
say something bad is gonna happen, then it hits.
Yeah, that can't work as a oath. I wouldn't
But
think.
even if it happens, you come back from that. No.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think the oath that the Navi's given, which by the way, the unstated premise that here that the Rambam is not stating is that when you're up to bat for like being tested whether you're be a Navi or not, we're presuming God will give you the information to verify you as a Navi. So God will not supply a pranios. Yeah,
What does that mean?
pranios is retribution or punishment. Yeah. Yeah. So the difficulty I have with this is, yeah, God is slow to anger. But also, my understanding of the way hashgacha works is like if you're not on the level to get the hashgacha, then it won't come true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, how could good things
Oh,
be
right. Isn't that the whole
Maybe
thing?
it's
with Avram and
Yeah.
Mitzrayim? Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe it's like hashgacha for the Navi.
But
It's
isn't
not
that,
being
is that,
be told as a false Navi because.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
wait, is that
Yeah.
how that works for article or maybe different from our?
Right. Well, is that the other flip side of what Isaac's saying? Is that
Yeah.
yeah, right? Meaning he's not going to get an oath that is somehow contingent on Klal Yisrael's, you know.
Well, I'm saying that not even gonna own that like a Yahweh, right? When you're saying that a Yahweh not running for an offer, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not for my article.
You mean if it's a nevuah for all of Klal Yisrael, that's true?
Yeah.
Or that they're
not
not-
running for no alcohol, it's a bond on it, gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's so many cases in Torah where that's not the case. I think like where, like the
Like where you don't
redemption from Mitzrayim.
get rain.
Or actually, I mean, I guess redemption from Mitzrayim. I mean, the fact that the redemption from
Yeah.
Mitzrayim needed to be with the Brits because otherwise they wouldn't have been on the level to get out.
And that's more than the rule. That thing,
Well, I mean, again, that kind of involves learning the whole sugya of the Brit Mitzrayim. But my understanding is God told Abraham, "I'm going to redeem your offspring," and Abraham said, "How do I know?" And his doubt was the fact that maybe they're not going to be on the level.
So this like thing of how if something the Navi says doesn't come true is only for when he's predicting a bad thing. not
Yeah,
predicting-
that if he predicts a bad thing and it fails to come true, that's not a invalidation of his nevuah. But if he predicts a good thing as part of the signs to establish him as a Navi and it doesn't come true, then he's a false prophet.
And
There
what
is
was
an
that?
expert.
Could we?
Yeah,
Sure.
it's about Tova.
About im hitiach al tova, if he promises I'm good, v'amar sheyihe kafel and he says it's going to be such and such, v'lo ba'a hatova sh'amar, and the good that he says doesn't come, v'yadu to Navi sheker. We know he's a false prophet. Shekol davar tova sheyigdor hakel afilu al t'nai eno choser. What? Isn't that what al t'nai means? Any good thing that God decrees, even on a condition, will not go back. Oh, so I guess if it's on a condition.
Meaning the condition is fulfilled.
Yeah, I mean the condition is fulfilled. It doesn't come true. Because clearly, if it's on condition, yeah, okay. That was, yeah. Halamadza shedivrei hatova bilvad yibakin a navi. So you learn from here that you can only test a navi with good things.
What about neutral things?
No.
Why not?
Maybe neutral things would be in this category also.
Oh, yeah. But
Well,
it's
different.
hard depending on the stuff.
What's the difference?
But like a rock is gonna fall from the sky and land in a field.
Yeah. Right. I assume that it's in the category of good things because only bad things can be rescinded.
Right, there'd be no reason why that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless he's a Navi sheker.
Right.
Yeah. Or unless there was a tzaddik's head that was going to be like in the place where the rock would fall on. Yeah.
It's about the alternate.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird thing where you like say that you're gonna do like let's say you make an agreement with something that you're gonna like buy their house on and you make like some sort of stipulation like on condition something happens and then they don't do it, it still is valid unless you say it's only if this and not if it.
Uh-huh.
It's like
And then John rears its ugly head. No,
Yeah.
it's not a John.
It's
Yeah.
not- something that's always bothered me because it doesn't make any sense to me, but
Uh-huh.
like, I think that's how like alternate works.
Okay.
And I don't understand it at all. But it doesn't-
I'll flash you a double thumbs up. Yeah.
So based on this, we're saying that you can never test a Navi through him giving Nevuah on negative things.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
No.
more accurately, he will never receive a sign to verify his Nevuah through testing about negative things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So if you have like a new guy who says, I'm a Navi, and then gives some prophecy about something negative, you know right away he's not a
So
Navi.
that's the interesting case, right? It's not that it's not that he necessarily he's a Navi sheker, right? It's just that he's not established as a Navi, and if it didn't come true, he's also not a Navi sheker because we know that God could, but you don't rely on him as a Navi though. That's the thing. That's the main
Right,
point.
I think the thing that we were saying is that if like let's say you've got a guy who's been a Navi for many years and he gives a good Nevuah and it doesn't come true, then you say he's a Navi sheker and we kill him.
We don't do that. You're saying.
No, we do.
What?
If he's established as a Navi,
And then you said something good gonna happen and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
well, then why does the Rambam end with Halamar Hatova Bilvad Yibachin Hanavi?
Yeah.
To establish him as a Navi in the first place.
That's what I thought. So if the guy is established as a Navi,
Yeah, but I'm saying then, even still, we don't know for sure that he's a Navi. We say he's probably a Navi given the, and then if something happens where he says something good and it's gonna happen and it doesn't come true,
Mhm.
we say, oh, we were wrong. He's actually not a real Navi.
see, the thing that bothers me about that.
I thought you were saying that earlier too.
No, he's saying if he gets tested,
Wait, yeah, no, I thought you were saying that.
like if he's already tested and then he fails,
Isn't it like him saying, isn't it like,
like he
Well,
fails.
no, I'm saying, let's
right,
say,
I didn't saying that,
let's say
that,
Sean goes to school and it's like, where's my dumplings? And,
Right.
and he says, they're in the other room. And he goes
And
to the other room, they're not there.
Right.
So he's done check.
and I didn't say that like, if you want to say, you know, what is up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't see why.
I got confused by the way he was formulating it, though. We were only in the testing stage, but I guess what you're saying is true for other stuff.
And what's the question?
I guess I see that it's not.
The question of the good.
The only thing that-
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a troubling thing to me. That's not a question on the
Well,
Rambam.
also,
I mean, it's
that's,
a question on the Rambam. It's not coming from the Rambam.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a guy, I guess,
wait, I heard
whether
that.
he's a Navi sheker or not, like if your first Nevuah is about something negative, you're just not supposed to say it.
Yeah, I mean, the premise here is that, I mean, he said the premise earlier that if God is sending you to have a nevuah for Am Yisrael, then he's going to give you signs to verify your nevuah first.
So presumably it wouldn't be about a negative thing.
Right.
So if it's about a negative thing, then presumably it's not about Klal Yisrael.
Right, or
I
you
mean,
wouldn't
that-
get that nevuah. I
or you
mean,
wouldn't
yeah,
get that nevuah.
yeah, or it's just for you, like,
Or
yeah.
you're just a nutshell.
Right. I mean, you're never gonna be in a situation. Don't worry, you're never gonna be in a situation where like you need to prove that you're a Navi, but the only nevuah you ever got was a negative one. You know?
And I guess
It's like a weird anxiety dream that people who are in nevuah training get. Like, it's like I forgot to say for the test. Yeah.
Right. And I guess if anybody ever tried to do that, it would just be absolutely clear they're a Navi tracker.
I don't think so. I think for the reasons I said before is that it would be dubious that like why are they trying to make a claim about something that they haven't been verified for? But I don't think we would say that they're not sheker, right?
Basically,
I
I'm
don't
saying
think
shit-
you know, I'm not going to.
Yeah, unless you do one of the Navi sheker things they specified, like
Yeah, I probably, I'm not really mad for anything.
yeah, someone's still bothering me what I was saying also.
Nothing added, but I don't know that you did not check.
Yeah,
Like that, now we're back to, we don't know what it means.
Is it maybe a comparison is if someone says like I'm a Navi and you're like, okay, well, what did you prophesy? It's like, oh, I haven't had a prophecy yet, but I'm a Navi.
yeah, right.
It's not like
Like
a false
there's no
prophet,
reason
but
to
it's
believe
not
him.
a
We don't
false
stone him to death on the spot, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and say if a person gave some nevuah that were true, and then you say, oh, he's like a good Navi, and then you give nevuah that's not true, like a positive nevuah that's not true. Then he's just like the coachman. He's saying
Right.
some things are true, some things are not true.
I mean, I didn't know it. The second
Dollar two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think why that would apply only at the beginning.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. That just it threw me off when he ended by saying though,
Right.
that, but that's just because that's why he brought this in the first place.
Right.
But it would definitely be true that he would he's not a true Navi. Yeah.
That's true. That's the last thing. The reason I'm saying if somebody either came out with saying, like meaning that example where like you're like I'm a Navi, but I never got nevuah. He's just okay. He's just a regular person.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Little fool of himself.
People
But
say
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But like, if it's that he says I'm a Navi and the nevuah that I got was about something negative that's going to happen,
Yeah.
based on what we're saying, it sounds like that would never happen. Meaning either he would get signs,
Right.
and then he wouldn't be in this position, he'd have a sign,
Right.
or he just wouldn't get that nevuah and he's lying.
Right. I think what we're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, what we're saying is that he would not be a real Navi, but he wouldn't have a din Navi sheker. He wouldn't be like.
I mean, there's a differentiation between lying and a Navi sheker. I mean, just lying. Someone says I'm a prophet, but oh, I didn't have any prophecies. Is also a liar.
Right.
But to become a Navi sheker, you have to
Yeah, and we can't say he's a Navi sheker because he's prophesying about something that's bad, and that could be rescinded. Like,
It's not something bad that doesn't happen. Yeah, I think it's,
Yeah, right.
it could be like,
right, but I mean, obviously trying to make the argument that because he's claiming to be a Navi,
Because
and that this a real Navi this wouldn't happen to,
Right.
then he is a Navi sheker. And what I'm saying is, I feel like this is not one of the violations.
I don't think you can turn it off because it's a real money that it would be faster than.
But I'm not talking about.
Yeah, he's talking about someone who
Right.
just.
I'm talking.
No, I know.
I wasn't talking about-
I'm apart from the fact that for real money, we don't say, oh, well, now you're not touching it.
That's a totally different case.
I know, but it's in the same avenue, right? It's that if something good happens and it doesn't happen, then you're not touching it. It doesn't matter what happens,
Right.
right? So you can't tell me that if in fact something bad happens, it's not even bad happen, or other people not touching it. But you said that the point of it is not even, you're not touching it. I mean, but. If you tell me that when you're not, and you say if something bad happens, you can't prove you're not touching it.
Right.
And
So
why
you're saying
would you
why-
say that
right.
before you're not?
I mean, what I was trying to say is,
Not enough.
is because you would never have a real case where a true Navi only gives a first prophecy that says something bad is going to happen. Because if a
Like a
Navi were
document.
actually sent to deliver bad nevuah, he would be given signs to verify his nevuah first. So, like, if you see a guy claiming to be a Navi and giving a bad nevuah for bad, you know that he's a false prophet.
You'd
Right,
like
but
to
one
think
thing
that
you
he's
can do
lying.
is
You know he's alive.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm
Then,
saying.
yeah.
I say you can know that he's not a real Navi, but it doesn't mean he has a din.
That's what I initially said. Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the din of no check, you have to be tested
But you're an execute.
as a
Right.
Navi.
You just say
and then
you're
you
alive.
know,
Stop
you're
lying.
bad.
Yeah.
It's clear that he's
Right.
alive.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
I think so.
Feelings gonna fall apart in a minute.
Yeah.
It's always lying.
What was that?
I'm not saying anything you don't lie either.
Like,
It can't be, then it must be that.
No, you're coming in with the premise that God only gonna give him nothing, non-belief Torah in order to bring it up. I'm just saying it can't happen. Only always happen on good things. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not gonna say something about the running first. I just think that they can't are talking about it and it's not.
Mhm,
It seems
Ah,
like,
so
I
you
think
think
I'm
I'm
sorry.
Yes.
mhm.
Yeah, I think
You need no real proof.
Right,
I say it wouldn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's probably not.
yeah,
Right, it's like a very strong uncertainty.
right.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I don't know. Something about
we gotta remember, this is all, I mean, not that this changes the like strict logic of your case. We're talking about a guy who meets all the qualifications of the nevuah
Right,
already, you know, so it's like,
right.
yeah,
Okay, I'm not going to say that, oh, that can only test with high and the fact that you find that a negative marking is not, I don't know, maybe something really happening.
right.
That doesn't.
Maybe he just forgot a certificate at home or something
Right,
that he got from somewhere else. And like, you're just seeing this as, no,
How many, I forgot, anything about what the thing is, how many of the premise that had only you, not the first.
yeah.
But the Rambam doesn't say that, the Rambam
Didn't
does-
he say that earlier in the
he said it
earlier
earlier.
Peirush? Hold on. I thought he said that, let me see if I have a copy of the older Peirush, the 7th Peirush. Hold on, yeah, here we go. It's in Zion Aleph, which is on your packet. It says Hanavi Efshar Shetiye Nebuas La'atmo Bilvad. So it's possible the Nebu will be for him alone. Okay, skip that. The Efshar Sheshulach La'am Am Haaretz Olam Sheir Malacha Levonin Osam Olodiam Ma Yatu Limnoa Osam Mimat Maram Shibidam. Possible to be sent for others. Ukishim Mifalkin Oso, and when he is sent for that, then he will be given a sign so that the people know that God sent him in truth. So that does sound like if he's sent on a mission for someone else, God will equip him with a sign.
Right, and
we're saying it has to be a sign of in the form of a prophecy for the good.
right, because if it's in the form of the prophecy for the bad, then it's not a sign,
Right.
because.
It's not a reliable
it can-
sign
right,
for this
to go
purpose.
away
Yeah.
In terms of the test.
Yeah.
Does the sign have to come first? Like, let's say he prophesies, like, whatever, something bad. And
Yeah.
then we're like, oh, where's your proof? And then he like whips out his second Nebuah.
It's a good question. I yeah.
If you
Yeah.
do that, then you know,
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. I don't see why not.
Hmm.
Yeah.
dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
bother.
why I'm saying, I just don't think it's like safe to say that line.
Right. I hear the doubt. All right. Well, we can't finish today because I have to go exactly like in now. But so we'll plan to finish this tomorrow and then do the Navi checker stuff in the done with the Peirush Mishnayot, and then be done with this, I guess.
Wait, I thought that was about
Did I miss that?